The hard part is keeping it up to date. It just comes too fast and furious. The stuff that's coming down is so fast and furious you just can't keep up with it. So what we recommend is that every district we've done 170 versus 420, 270 or something like that. 250. Every district we've done, we suggest to them, we offer an option, and that's called the Policy Alert Support Service. It's the kit. $2,395 a year. Here's what you get for that after you're finished. Number one, the green sheets are policy alerts that we mail out to districts. We mail that out. We mail out a hard copy of the green sheets that tell you why we're recommending you consider changes, how it affects you, if it's a mandated policy, recommended policy, suggested policy. We also send you a hard copy of the actual policy guide that we use in developing policies. That should align close to most of your policies with changes in the documents we attach to the green sheets. We include strike-throughs for words that have to come out, bolds for words that have to go in, so that basically you can see the changes that we're recommending. So it becomes almost like a policy committee agenda, and it's aggressive. We've included in that packet a list of all the policies we've updated over the last couple of years. We do about 60 or 70 a year, and it's just because it's just constantly changing. For $23.95, you get the policy updates. We do about 4 or 5 a year. 2, you get a monthly newsletter of our school digest. It's the only place that really digests school legal cases that affect New Jersey by policy number, and that's important why we do that. You get unlimited policy consultation. You get customized policy writing. If you have a unique policy, if we don't have it in our repertoire of policies, we'll write something for the district. We have almost everything. Yeah. Once in a while we get something where somebody say, can you help us write a policy for this? And we do it because we think it's going to be valuable to our districts. And once you're done and once you're finished, we do all that. And unlimited policy consultation, customized policy writing. And what we also do that is really, really unique is your district gets access to our what we call ELAN Online. It's probably logged out. Yeah. It's ELAN Online. ELAN Online is our online policy service. That basically, when you sign in with a password, everybody that we deal with knows this and realizes what it is. What's important is keeping you up to date. And how can we conveniently keep you up to date? Everything we mail out of hard copy, your district can go in and download. You get a password, your person in your district gets a password, they go in, so you can download everything in Word, you don't have to retype anything. Everything that we send out is available through this policy alert tab. It's pretty cool. And everything there is in Word. So we updated the harassment, intimidation, and bullying policy. We put it out in April. The state made a change as late as July. We update that. That's all here. We put a notice on our website. We send out an alert saying, come and get it. Here it is, until we can get the hard copy out and let everybody know. So everything that's available that we send out is all here in Word. So you just click it and go. All the policy alerts that we've sent out over the years are all here too. But the real cornerstone of this product is what's called ELAN Online. It's basically it's 5 databases that are linked together. So we have a policy guide, a regulation guide. They're not your policies. There are policy guides that we use to work with school districts when we develop them. Your unique ones will have the same policy numbers as ours, but may or may not look identical. But basically, we have policy guides, regulation guides, all of 18A, all of the administrative code, and all of the school digest. So for example, a year from now, your book's done, and you say, you know what, we're having a problem with our substance abuse policy. What does Strauss have available in the area of substance abuse? What you do is you actually go, I know where I'm going, but there is a search engine. I'll show you that in a minute. But basically, by doing this, you can actually go down to, I know where I'm going, but 5530 is our substance abuse policy. When you click it, it takes you right within our own database, our policy guide here. It's Word exportable. There's a print version available. If there's a corresponding procedure that you want to see, what Strauss have out there for you, that's there. You'll see all these guides have blanks and options so that the district can fill them in to their own unique needs. We don't, unless the law says you have to do something specifically, we'll give you options to do that. You go back to the policy. What's really interesting is the authorizing statute is in our own database. There it is. If you want to go to another section of 18A, that's the next section. You go on and on with that. Any other policy that incorporates that is also there. So that's pretty neat. And then by going back to the policy, By going back to the policy 55, by going back to the policy guy.
Technology will.
Well, I'm getting it. I mean, that's it. All right. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back. I'm just going to go back to the policy I was on. Bear with me. By going back to 5530, I'm not real good with a keyboard, with
Needs a mouse.
a note. Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, I work 10 hours a day. All right. So now, when you look at 5530 again, I'll just go back to a second. I want to show you it too. Remember that school digest I told you about? Well, it also has the code. You can put the administrative code. That's easy. That's there, and every section of the administrative code is there. But what's really cool, this is what Frank knows, is this Frank here knows that we also index all those cases we report monthly. We do 8 a month, 8 cases a month. You actually can hit any case we've indexed by substance abuse. Is click right there, and you actually can go to that and get all the cases that have been reported under substance abuse since 1978. This happened to be a case in Washington Township in Gloucester County where the federal court said that the school district doesn't have to get the consent of the parent when they suspect a child under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and you take him to the hospital because you can't get the parent on the phone. So that's really all this information is available to the school district by keeping up to date. What's really important, what's very, very important, is that you have the easiest tools possible to keep the district up to date. Because otherwise, it's a big enough burden to do, even with these kinds of resources available to you. This is our public website. We show what's going on, what's coming down, what's coming out. That's all there. We have updates here on information. This is public. Anybody can get this. You don't need a password to get it for this. And that's all there. We do other stuff too, for example, like, I think you dizzy. But, you know, QSAC support, all the DPRs that were out there that had policy implications, we actually put the DPR up there, we put the policy number that corresponds, so when the district has to fill them out, it's all there. That's our QSAC support tab. We do, a part of our firm does professional development, and not a lot of professional development in the sense of a lot of areas. But, and for example, we put together a harassment, intimidation, and bullying prevention program where this summer we're training 200 school districts, 900 coordinators and specialists and administrators through the month of August, just training them on the law. We developed our own, we're big enough to produce our own DVD on training teachers that meets a 2-hour training requirement for teachers. So it's really an awesome product. We'll jump into a project like that when we think there's a need for our clients to do that. So we do all that. I only say this, you know, I say this to every board that I speak in front of. I can talk to them blue in the face. The best thing to do is to have your administrative staff, yourself, reach out to school district staff we have listed as clients and say, tell me how it works, tell me how it is, you know, because that's the best estimate, you know. I mean, that's, in this business, it's a closed business, and we always say to people, don't ask us for a reference, call anyone. I've talked fast, I've talked a lot. Any questions? I don't think I've missed anything there, but I have any questions, anything to do to help you?
The only question I had is,
Yep.
I mean, we've tried this with another organization, and to tell you the truth, the organization didn't fail, we did, in my opinion.
You didn't follow through on the work?
Well, we tried, we really did.
It's hard.
But, you know, you sit down for 4 hours in one night and hash through 6 policies, you know, I think the process that you came up with where the administrators do it first and then give it to the board would probably help that along a lot. But I thought it interesting when you get down near the end, you get a proof copy, and then the board or the administrators make changes and send it back to you. Do you then check those changes?
Yeah. If you're trying to make a change you can't make, that's why we say make changes right on the documents itself. If you're trying to make a change you can't make, we'll call and say you can't do that.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, sometimes people will just write notes and think, if I can do this, take it out. And if I can't, leave it in. So we have that kind of dialogue. You know, it's important. I want to just comment about that because you make a really good point. Whether Strauss Esme does your policies or not, if you've gone through it and you realize the fact that a board can get entangled in this project where it could be a career, it really could. I think at that point there becomes a certain amount of trust between your administrative staff and the board to say, this is what we want to have. What I do think is important is that the board be very actively involved in some very specific sections of the manual. The bylaws, how the board operates, that's really important. The community part. Let me be honest with you. The curriculum part, I mean, I gotta tell you, I mean, I'm not saying that people don't have a keen interest in curriculum, don't get me wrong.
That's not our forte.
Well, it may be.
Well, there's some.
By the way, it may be. There may be people who are talented. But what I'm saying, have that talent, and that's wonderful. But the idea is yeah, there has to be that kind of relationship and trust between the administrative staff and the board when you develop this. And what you need to do, I always tell boards all the time that possibly could get caught up in it and just drive themselves crazy. I said, there's probably 50 policies out of 300 policies you're going to have that are the ones that you're really, the average board member, you know, the person who is here to really do good things for the school district will say, you know what, let's concentrate on those. Some people say they're the mandated policies. Some people say they're sections by sections. Every board has their own. Listen, you probably have an issue here I don't know about. They'll say, you know what, that's an important policy for us. Everybody does. You know, they'll say everything. So I think what you have to do is if you get entangled in we do have about 3 districts out of the 421 that honestly are driving themselves crazy. And
That was us.
well, yeah, and you know what? It could do it to you. It absolutely could do it to you. And a lot of it too is working with this board to say, look, a lot of it does not, a lot of the policy manual, most of what's in there, a lot of it's anymore mandated. You know, mandated kinds of things. You don't, you have flexibility, but a lot of the language in most policies is mandated language, and you have flexibility over sections of it. Like code of conduct. You have to have a code of conduct. You have to have this stuff, but you can decide the consequences, and you can decide the offenses. Now, you could spend a night doing that based on recommendations from your administrative staff, or you could spend a year debating whether a kid gets suspended 1 day or 2 days for smoking. You know, that's the reality. And I'm just telling you this based on my almost 20 years of experience doing this. You know, but you make a good point. Well taken. A well taken point.
I think one of the reasons you're here is because intelligent boards are working. And I've wrestled with boards who've tried to do it themselves, and I've also experienced your service before you took over, and there's no question about the expediency in dealing with
Thank you.
the expert.
Thank you.
So that's why, you know, we have a policy committee, we talked about this burn, and I didn't know how many you handled, but I knew you had a darn good number of them.
Yeah, it's been very.
State, there's 600 and some 10 school districts in the state, and if you have 400 and some of them, that says something.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate. Very fortunate.
Okay.
Listen, very, very nice meeting you. Thank you very much for having me here, and it's been a pleasure. And good luck opening the year.
Thank you.
Good job on that gym floor. Hey, good job on that gym floor. Okay, you don't have to get up. I can find my way.
You taught,
What?
you taught me well.
I taught you, right?
Thanks.
Take care now.
Now, two people on our policy committee are not here tonight. The chairman's not here. But Mr. Dung and Mr. Rodriguez are not here. Dr. Maloney is on the policy committee, and I'm on the policy committee. And I remember when I had a conversation with Mr. Stardrill, and he asked me, what do I want to do this year? And the main things I want to do is really get our policy up to date. It's one of those things that we have not been following through on since I've been a member of the board. And it's going to be a lot of work. And I went to Dr. Johnson and spoke to him about it. That was something I really thought this board should do this year. And Dr. Johnson recommends these people. He said he knew this company. He wanted to make sure they could take us.